I want to move into what I'll say is our last section. I'm going to lump EA and Xbox together because EA, we just had two things really to talk about here. So I figured we just talk about EA real quick and then go on to Xbox.
Fallen Order, baby!
That's all that matters. Fallen Order. Who cares about everything else? I mean, I was already excited about this game, but and again, they have said this is not going to have loot boxes, microtransactions, all that stuff.
Single player experience.
I am so excited. They said we want this is a story, this is a single player story. It's all about the experience and diving in. I am so excited about this in so many ways. And Saw Gerrera there, like, there's so many things that I'm excited about this game. And now, I mean, well, I guess we knew the time frame that this was going to be in and everything. So because it's Fallen Order, but like to see some of these, like at least a familiar character, I think that's the only one that we've seen. I like the new droid. I think he's adorable.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm excited about it. Some Death Troopers going on and lightsaber combat. So what could go wrong?
Yeah, and after getting with Respawn, with Apex Legends, with finishing Titanfall 2, which I did recently, Respawn's a great developer for this. They're very good at action. You see right here on the screen where the wall running, that is very Titanfall and Apex. That is I call that Respawn wall running right there. That's what they do. The combat looks sweet. The way that they were showing the force power slowdown. There's one point where like he slows down time for a second, like where really he's speeding up, but like he did it where a stormtrooper shot at him, he force pulled the stormtrooper and put the stormtrooper in the path of his own blaster bolt. All of that is awesome. It made me completely excited about the action. The only thing that it didn't do, and just the only critique that I had, is I still don't care about that character at all. There's nothing to make me. We haven't seen any like story things, and maybe they don't. Maybe they're doing that on purpose. Maybe they don't want to go heavy on that because they want you to experience the story. But for right now, he's just this generic white dude that is that has a lightsaber. So as long as they put some story to that guy, I'll end up being happy. I'm already probably going to be very happy just based on the fact that they're making a single-player Star Wars game that looks great. Yeah. But it would have been nice. I care more about the droid right now than I care about him. It's like I expect this guy is going to die either in this game or a game or two from now, depending on how long they want to stretch this series out. There's no way that he can live. But if you kill that droid, I'd be pretty upset.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Same thing with dogs in games or in movies. Like, I'm like, don't do it. I'm wondering if they're not going to give too much of the backstory of your character, similar to how the Jedi Knight series worked, where like Jedi Knight 2, where they just kind of throw you in and they kind of let you fill you in your own backstory. So I don't know if they're going to dive in or who this character is, but I don't know. It could work either
Disney.
way.
I expect them to write it. Like, I expect there to be a book about him or something before too long. Some kind of tie-in novel or comic book. Like, I expect them to milk this for as much as it's worth. But hopefully they put some story in the game to care about too. But they announced that's coming out November 15th.
Yeah, and we also got some more stuff on Apex Legends, which I've not been following, but
I watched enough.
You watch enough of it, but bringing in additional character and additional weapons, right?
And season 2.
Yep.
So they're trying their best to follow the model that Fortnite has put out, where Fortnite regularly does new seasons, which come with new things. The only thing is Apex isn't keeping up. It looked good. Like the season 2 content looks good. The new character power looked interesting on what they're going to do with it. The game is great. It's just they're not updating fast enough. But if they're keeping up, if they're still making money off of that's the big thing. That's another Respawn game. So Respawn's making Fallen Order. Respawn's making Apex Legends. Respawn is pretty much doing all the work right now. Since BioWare kind of flopped on Anthem. So we want good things for Respawn so that they stick around and keep making us.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's a great great developer. I mean, I was already going to be in on it, but totally in on it when I heard, when Star Wars Respawn. Yeah, it's going to be good stuff. Wanted to move on to Xbox with Outer Worlds.
Yeah.
Totally happy about this.
Such good vibes.
Yeah, this is something I've been looking forward to for a while. I'm even more excited about it now. What else did we get? Sorry, I want to get through here. I don't want to like speed through, but we also got Bleeding Edge, which looked amazing.
It's looked crazy.
Yeah.
So this is like it's like a Team Fortress or like Overwatch. Like it has that feel to it, except so it's 4v4 melee combat instead of guns, which was crazy.
Yeah, it looks great, and again they're trying to get into the whole like Overwatch.
There's got to be some esport handle that they're going for. It's not going to be for me because I'm not good enough. It's probably something that I'll check out unless it is like $60, but it looks great. It looks cool.
Yeah, I know Blair Witch is totally not for you either.
Nope.
I'm totally playing this.
I'm sure.
Very, very excited about this.
My favorite thing was just everybody was like, "This feels like Blair Witch," and I think Cass called it out before I did. Where it's like, "Is that like Blair Witch?" And then it's like, "This looks like Blair Witch." Oh, yeah, it's Blair Witch.
Totally Blair Witch. Yep. I'm sure you'll be playing Ori and the
Will-O-Wisps.
Sorry, the audio just popped up and it says it's muted, but it's not. Ori and the Will-O-Wisps. I loved Ori and the Blind Forest, so I think this is going to probably be one of the best games. This comes out later this year, is that right?
No,
early
February.
That's right.
And Outer Worlds is October. Bleeding Edge is actually later this month. The art looks fantastic. Like you're seeing on the screen here with the spider. The art looks dope. It looks great. It looks beautiful. Props on this kind of game. It's a difficult, hard game. I actually didn't play the first Ori, but I'm still waiting. Like since they put Cuphead on Switch, I'm still hoping they bring Ori to the Switch. But it looks so good.
Yeah. I'm totally happy about that. Minecraft Dungeons I thought was an interesting pick.
I thought this was funny. I was like, is this like Minecraft Diablo?
Yeah, but I don't know who this is for. I mean, I guess
kids.
I guess as I say that, like, my nephew who loved Minecraft has, he's now 11 and he's like, I get bored with that now, but at the same time, like, he'll still play it. But I could see him playing this. Maybe that'll get him into the isometric kind of Diablo-esque thing.
And the interesting thing about this, so by the way, we made it clear we're talking about Microsoft stuff. So these are all Microsoft Studios so far. Every single game that we mentioned is Microsoft Studio. Outer Worlds is Obsidian's game. Outer Worlds is still coming to multiple consoles because they were working on that beforehand. And then this game is made by Mojang. And this is also coming to every console. I didn't write that down, but I find it interesting that Microsoft is owning these studios and still allowing some of them to be inexclusive.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm gonna skip around just a little bit here because I want to save one thing until later.
Sure.
Battletoads. This has been rumored forever.
Yeah.
That they were going to get another Battletoads game. I absolutely love Battletoads on the NES. I think it's hilarious. I think this is going to be a great fit, and I believe this is coming out to Switch, right?
Not that I know of.
I thought it was coming out to Switch as well as other consoles, but
if it is, I didn't write that down. As far as I know, this is Xbox exclusive, but I could be.
I thought it was Switch as well, but either way, I'm going to play it.
I don't know. It looks fine. I thought it was weird they didn't have a release date. The one that you're showing now is actually one of my like surprise. Like this looks super interesting and cool. And this was
this is The Legend of Wright.
Yes.
Yeah, that looks so inventive and so cool.
It made me think of Yoshi's Papercraft.
Yeah. it's that inventive.
Yeah.
And when I see something like that, I feel like I have to give them money.
Yeah.
Because of the creativity involved in this.
And they said this is next year, but we don't know what the game's about or what's going on. It was just this video showing all these art styles, but like whatever it is, like I'm very interested. Based on that. RPG time.
Yeah, I'm also interested in Lego Star Wars because I love Lego games and I love Star Wars. So
yeah, I thought this was interesting because we already have like the first like 7.
Yes, we have the first 7, and we didn't get one for episode 8, and now they're going to do a single game that's going to have 1 through 9 on it. I'm curious if that means that the first 6 or 7, are they going to be the games that we already have? I'm not saying it'd be a bad thing. I'm assuming that they're just going to package it, and then you're going to have 8 and 9 tacked on.
I don't think so, because they even said, and you just saw it in the text there, this is a brand new game, so it doesn't seem like it. So they're calling this the Skywalker Saga, which is also interesting. But they said all 9 films, 1 new game, Star Wars the Skywalker, Lego Star Wars the Skywalker Saga.
Yep.
I think they're just going to be taking pieces, because I mean you still can't make a kids game that long, because if you had the first 7 games and then package that in, like it's forever. That would be a lot of value.
Yeah.
But no, I think they're going to piece together a different thing, highlighting more. I don't know. Yeah. I don't hate Lego Star Wars. I don't really care about it either. Yeah. I like building the Legos. You can't see it, but off screen there's an X-wing. There's a Millennium Falcon over there.
I think I'm gonna get. I haven't told her yet, but she probably won't watch this far into an E3, the E3 show. But I think I'm gonna get her the Jurassic Park Lego set for her birthday, because that thing looks amazing. And it'd be fun. It's
funny that you could spoil her birthday present on the podcast.
I don't think she's gonna watch this far into it.
That's funny.
I don't think so. But we also got Forza Horizon 4 Lego.
That was interesting.
Very interesting.
That car looked real at first.
That car did. I thought it was real.
Yeah.
Like the amount of pieces involved in that.
They said like 500,000 or something like that.
Yeah. Now that being said, I'm not downplaying what they're doing at all. But there's software that like you and I and anyone can jump in, and if you're like, I want to make this in Legos, they can basically give you like a parts list of how to build it.
Yeah.
So it's still going to take.
I was about to say you still have to put it together though. It's still impressive.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not going to give you step by step. The computer doesn't give you step by step, but it's like, here's your parts. Now you've got a 3D model of what the parts would be. I think that looked. I don't know who. I mean, obviously it's for Forza people, but I thought it was kind of interesting. 12 minutes. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was going to talk about 12 minutes too. There's another game I want to talk about after this. But this game was another standout one to me. This top-down indie time loop game. Very interesting. It seems like you're going to be like maybe like either trying to prevent a murder or solve like who's murdering. It's probably a combination of both. This game has been a long time coming. I think we heard about it 2 or 3 years ago. But it looks really good.
Yeah. So again, very interesting, inventive in regards to the story, in regards to gameplay. I'm curious. I can't wait.
Yeah, and then another indie game that I wanted to highlight. Super cute art style. It went really depressing on the end, but I'm still in that Spiritfarer. Whenever they start showing this thing, it's like this side-scrolling, cute art. Like it looks right. This is a game where this is right up my alley for people who know the kind of games that I'm into the last couple of years. And then it turns out it's about like I feel like you're death. Like you could either be death or you're the boatman. You're like ferrying your friends' spirits and stuff. So it ended up having like a really depressing premise to go with it. Yeah. But I like that. It seems like they're going. It seems like this is going to be like probably an emotional game to play. But but I'm in. I was completely in the second that it came on screen. Even after I found out the premise, I'm still in. The art looks so good, so good.
It looks great. It looks like the story and what they're showing. So they learn how to say goodbye, and the idea of closure, and for the happiness of that after that sorrow, I think is going to be really interesting. Again, games and art evoking emotion. I mean that's so important. So yeah, I'm totally in on that.
I lied about other small games. There's another one, the Way to the Woods.
Yeah.
Where you play as the deer and you're leading around the fawn, I'm guessing. There's probably going to be something emotional that happens there. I can already predict some kind of Bambi situation going on. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But again, anybody who knows this, again, it's a very, like, it's point and click adventure. It looks like maybe like simple puzzle solving to go along with it, but a journey that you're going on there. It gave me Journey vibes. I'm gonna be about it.
No, I can totally see that. Switching gears completely though.
Yeah.
A lot of gears. So
this trailer sucked.
Yeah, it sucked. I love the Gears of War games.
That's amazing. One of my favorite franchises.
Yeah, so I've played all of them except for there's one, Judgment, I didn't finish.
It's
but
not good.
Every other game with Whitney. So this just really didn't do it for me. And then we got Gears of War Escape that was announced, which
looks fun.
That looks fun, but
it's a multiplayer mode. It looks like it's kind of like a horde, like fighting off the horde type thing.
Which that could be fun. It may not be, honestly, like I prefer the campaign. Like I enjoy the campaign of these.
But it made me think of Call of Duty Zombies. Like it made me think of a thing like that where it's a PvE situation instead of being PvP, because they're also known for having a great PvP mode with their multiplayer, but having a PvE mode a la Zombies, but having that in Gears, it seemed fun.
Yeah. Weird tie-in to Terminator Dark Fate.
0 sense.
I don't know if it's because it's... Okay, so someone was trying to say, oh, it's because it's the future. Well, yes, but Gears of War doesn't take place on Earth. So...
No, this was totally them throwing money, and for people... We didn't mention it in the other conference because it was so small, but Terminator also had bought a little something for Tom Clancy, one of the Tom Clancy games, during the Ubisoft conference. They showed it for all of 10 seconds. Whatever. Okay. Yeah. I hate that kind of buying stuff. Yeah.
And we got Gears Pop.
And that looked cute too until they showed the gameplay, and I was totally off by it then. Like I originally thought this game was going to be cute. This trailer is cute. One of those things like you can get behind, but then you watch the gameplay and I don't get it. Like, is it a pinball thing? Is it I don't understand what you're trying to do in it. Yeah. So it'll probably be a thing where if it's free, then I'll try it out. But
yeah, maybe. But yeah, overall,
it was a really weird Gears stuff. Like I just didn't get that trailer at all. And they did that thing where they broke the stage and went under the I didn't understand what they were doing.
Yeah. But I will say I've been saving this, but the trailer for Cyberpunk,
highlight of the show. I've
already been excited for this game, so that's why I saved this for last. But or almost last.
Yeah.
For last when it comes to games, but the trailer looked great, the story looked great, and then we had a reveal at the very end that Keanu Reeves is in the game. I don't know to what extent, but that was totally awesome, and I loved. That moment right
there?
You're breathtaking, because someone told him he's breathtaking. He said, "No, you're all breathtaking." The man just oozes this positivity, and I absolutely love it. Like, especially everything that man's gone through, and he's just he's all about positivity and embracing people like this. So
what's completely funny about it is like he's just John Wick over and over again. Like, so there's a new Netflix movie out that if you haven't seen that, Always Be My Maybe. He's in that movie as well, which apparently he filmed during John Wick. They just came in and they like gave him the script, and he was there for like a couple days, filmed his parts, and then moved on with his life. Other than the breathtaking part, I like the fact that he came out. First of all, they did it where they revealed him animated. In the trailer, which would like everybody exploded and then the door opens up and Keanu comes out, and like my favorite thing was he's completely out of his element. Like he doesn't play games, he doesn't know anything. Like he even admitted it, which I loved. I thought that was deprecating. Where he's like, I don't understand what's going on in this game at all, but it sounded cool, so I'm in. Before he started, they're all cheering, like the crowd is going absolutely nuts. He's like, guys, I gotta tell you some stuff. Like, it's just like, calm down.
Yeah. No, I love that.
Please let me tell you.
Try to find that moment, like, to show, like, the CG Keanu. Yeah, because when he came out, him coming out was great, but CG Keanu, like, you can tell as soon as he bent down, I knew who it was.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, like, before he even took out the sunglasses, I mean, I could tell by the voice and everything, but that's a great start. And I agree, like he's playing John Wick and like everything now, but at the same time,
I don't care.
He's fine. He doesn't have that much of a range, but he is so cool.
He's never had much range. No. I mean, but the Matrix is awesome. Speed's awesome. Like there's very few things where I just hate him in it. Like I don't like a thing that he's in just because he is what he is. He's an action star, and I think he's a villain in Cyberpunk, which is going to be cool because you don't really see him as a bad guy very often. But the best part of the show, there's a couple other things I mentioned in this show. Like, I don't really need to talk about Borderlands. They didn't say anything new. I thought it was really cool that they're bringing Phantasy Star Online to America, to the West. That was crazy. But the weird thing about this show to me, before we talk a little bit about xCloud, was just that there was zero gameplay.
Yeah.
Zero.
In regards to
anything.
The whole conference. Yeah, the whole conference was CG, which gets people hyped, but it doesn't tell you enough about the actual gameplay experience. This is video games. I mean, if I want to play or if I want to watch animated movies, I can watch animated movies, and there's some great stuff out there. But yeah, in this case, we're being shown, we're being teased a slice of what could be, but it's not really showing what is, and that's what bothers me. This is where
the credit was due versus Nintendo and versus Square, where the thing about this conference is it felt very 2020. Like Ori is 2020,
yep.
Minecraft is 2020, Cyberpunk got a release date, that was the thing we didn't mention, April 16th for Cyberpunk. That was way sooner than I thought it would be. But that's 2020.
Yep.
The RPG Legend of Right, 2020. I'm just scrolling down the list here. Lego Star Wars is 2020. Oh, we didn't talk about Dragon Ball Z, but that game looks dope.
That does.
It's now, instead of being Project Z, it's Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, early 2020. Way to the Woods, 2020.
Yep.
2020. Dying Lights, 2020. Like, there was very few things that they talked about that were 2019 in this, and while that's fine, that's what E3 is for. It's for the future. I want to see I want to see play some games. There was like, I don't want to hear you talk about it like conferences make a mistake in doing sometimes, where they talk while you're seeing gameplay. No, I just want to see the game played. Like we saw with Respawn, we saw 10 minutes. I don't need to see 10 minutes either, but we saw like over 10 minutes of Jedi Fallen Order playing the game being played, what the game is going to be.
Final Fantasy VII. We got Final Fantasy. We got so much gameplay.
We saw them fighting a boss in Final Fantasy VII. In the Nintendo conference, there was we saw Luigi's Mansion being played. We saw so much. But in this conference, where we were saying Sony's not there, you have a chance. It's a solid conference.
Yeah.
Like this is not. I'm not. Whenever I'm saying this is not a bad conference at all. I cannot say like this was bad. Like, but I was disappointed by the fact that we didn't see anything played. Nothing was played.
Yeah, no, I agree. I will say, when they talked about technology, I was excited about this because this, like you said, everything's 2020, everything's moving towards the future. Starting out talking about the Xbox Elite controller, I was like, that's really cool. It's a really big advancement because their Elite controller is really good.
It is.
I'm glad they're catering to this boutique audience.
Absolutely.
Because there's money there and there's people who really care and really want that. That is your
It's your Razer keyboard.
It really is. It totally is. I'm happy about it. I'm really happy about that. And then they started talking about xCloud.
Yeah.
And this is right on the heels of Google talking about Google Stadia, which we knew about. Mm-hmm. We knew that these titans, if you will, are all moving towards streaming. So basically, we have Microsoft and their Azure servers versus Google's what is it? Not AWS. Google servers, but it's basically between those two, and now trying to stream your gameplay off of their servers. This is a new frontier. It's just a question of is everyone going to be able to keep up? I think that in 10 years, I don't know if it'd be the majority, but I think that a good amount of people will just be streaming all of their games. I'm streaming media off of my PC when I'm at the gym. I'm watching documentaries off my PC. This is, and Netflix is a normal thing now. Gameplay, once our 5G comes out, once the internet speeds get a little bit better across the country, this will be something that the majority of the country would be able to access. 10 years from now, majority of the country will be able to access this easily.
Yeah, the thing that is interesting about xCloud is that, so they mentioned their own servers, which is a big deal. That's the Google Stadia competition. But what nobody's talking about, that I find interesting that not a lot of people are mentioning, but is PlayStation already does one of the things that they mentioned. So the other thing that they mentioned, other than streaming off Azure servers, is that you're going to be able to use your own Xbox One or whatever the next Xbox is. You're going to be able to use that as a hub. PlayStation already does that. We've talked about it. And it works decently well. And now with upcoming controller support on like iOS and everything, it's going to get even better now that you can use your PlayStation controller natively on iOS and maybe eventually Android. Who knows? But you can. I could do it right now. I have my iPad right here next to me. My PlayStation 4 is in my living room. I can turn on my PlayStation with my iPad. I could play a video game right now. That already exists. Nobody's talking. I don't understand how that's being completely ignored with the fact that Sony is already one step ahead of the game in that regard. They're not doing this other thing. They're going to be working with xCloud. But nobody's mentioning the fact that they're doing this hub business before everybody else did it. Yeah. I think that's really odd that that Sony's not getting credit there. But so they mentioned that, and I think that's what's primarily going to be it. Like, there's the server aspect of it too, and that's where Sony's going to be working with Microsoft, and they're going to be competing against Stadia, and I think that's being understated, like way understated. The fact that the two biggest game companies in the world. I know Nintendo is also huge. No disrespect to Nintendo. I mean, at least in the United States, they're the biggest companies in the United States for sure. They're going to be working together on a cloud service for both of their systems. That's big. The Stadia announcement was right before E3. That's why we didn't really go into it. But like, they started talking about it. I've already pre-ordered that because I'm in. Like, I want this to be a thing. I know everybody that I talk to that's down on this. You have a reason to be down on it. The internet is not there yet. The latency is not there yet. The keeping up in terms, if you wanted to play an online FPS, it's not there yet, but it will be. I'm guaranteeing that it will be. If Stadia doesn't get it right, this xCloud thing, they might get it right. There might be a company we don't even know about that might get it right eventually. This is a thing. You want this to be. We don't need to keep buying hardware anymore, guys. We can just buy a controller, have our account, be able to access it anywhere. My wife's watching on the TV. I'll just go into the media room. Oh, my kid's in the media room. Oh, I'll go on my computer. Oh, I'll go on this. Like, I go in any. The idea of not having to own multiple consoles and just being able to go into any room in my house and log on and play my video games. Like, how are people not into this?
Exactly. No, like, and I'll admit, like, I think part of it is because of the way that Sony has been marketing, or lack thereof in regards to pushing their marketing of it. But I forgot that PlayStation could do this as well, so I just installed it on my PC. So, I mean, it's a very simple thing, but if I'm in, I can play a PlayStation game in there, but if the wife's playing something on the Xbox or watching TV and I want to jump in on something, I can come into the office and do it. But the fact that Stadia, anywhere that I am, that I can do that, any room that I'm in, essentially as long as I've got a decent connection, I can jump on. I mean, it allows freedom that I think that a lot of people aren't thinking about. It's the same thing that people weren't thinking about when the Switch came out. And they thought, am I really going to play games? Am I going to really take that thing around with me? And yeah, it's that good to have your games anywhere. To be able to play it handheld or dock the game, this is light years ahead of that, because you don't have to have that piece of hardware with you. Like, it's phenomenal. I can't wait.
I don't get how, like, there's the argument that people talk about, like, I want physical games. Okay. I want you to delete your Netflix account. I want you to go delete your Hulu account.
Sure.
I want you to go delete your HBO Now. I want you to go delete your Amazon Prime. I want you to go delete your Spotify. I want you to go delete your Apple Music. I want you to go delete all that stuff and stop, and that way you can keep telling me how much you love physical media.
Sure.
Like, stop lying to me.
Yeah,
like, I get it. Like,
there are people out there. There are people out there, but it's very few. It's very few that are like, I'm all in on that are all in on physical media. I like physical media because like, even with a decent connection, with the compression and everything that goes on, like, watching some really, really good movies doesn't really cut it, especially if it's a really dark scene. It doesn't cut it in regards to streaming. I want a Blu-ray of it, or I want to own it, sure. But yeah, I'd say 95% of the time, 99% of the time, we're streaming something, especially with my Plex server now. Like, I'm streaming everything. It's just easy. I'm lazy. I mean, why not?
And I say all this. I pre-ordered Final Fantasy VII with the Steelbook. Like, there's still things that I want. I'm really jealous that Europe is getting that Link's Awakening Steelbook also. You can look right here. This is all video game stuff behind me. This is all Zelda-related hardware stuff right there. Like, it's not that I don't like physical things, but 99% of the time, I want the other stuff. Like, there is a couple of franchises that I really need the physical games of, and I don't think that that's going to go anywhere for a while. And there's still going to be, and even if there is, there's still going to be third-party companies. I've heard some people floating this as like a collector's edition type thing. Imagine a collector's edition that comes with a code for the game. So, like, it's a collector's edition where you still get like a statue and you still get the other stuff, but you get a code for the game digitally, no disc. Like, I think that there's still that range for collector's editions to happen. Anybody who says, like, this is the death of gaming, you can't do this because physical game, like, you're kidding me. You're lying to me. Go look on your profile right now. I have 400 digital games in my PS4 library. If I had that shelf full of it, my wife would kill me.
I agree. I like Robert's comment in here saying that all his Jay-Z and Prince went away just when they felt like it. That's what happens with a lot of this digital digital rights. You don't really own it. So I get it. Like, there's certain things that like I said, there's certain things that I want to own. I don't want to rely on someone else giving me access to, like, my Marvel movies or something. Like, I have certain movies that I want, my Batman movies, whatever. Real quick, there are two games I wanted to mention before we talk about Scarlet. But I want to talk about Elden Ring real quick.
Yeah, sure.
Because I know this isn't a big deal for you, but I just really quick wanted to mention it because otherwise, Kevin will kill me. No, I'm actually really excited about this. Hideo Miyazaki and George R.R. Martin teaming up. That being said, just real quick, George R.R. Martin basically helped world build a mythos and a world history, and then handed it off to Miyazaki. That's from everything that I'm hearing, which is fine.
I'll believe it's George R. R. Martin writing when I see it.
Oh, no. I think that, like, he probably showed up and, like, spent a little bit of time, like, world building, like, you know, in a group with Miyazaki and a couple other people, and they wrote everything down, and then he went back to America. I think that's exactly what happened. I think that it's hit enough input of his ideas that they were like, yeah, it was a collaboration. Not to say he didn't have a lot of input, but I think the majority of the bulk was on From. Either way, it's interesting.
The weird thing about this is I'm actually less interested with the fact that they mentioned him working on it. Like, it's cool, but From Software is already killing it. Like, everybody knows these games aren't for me. I don't like them. They're not fun for me. I don't think that they're good. But I also recognize that they're well-made games. I recognize that the love for From Software games in the last 5 to 10 years. So I don't think, like, Miyazaki didn't need to put George R.'s name on there.
He didn't. I think he wanted to collaborate. Apparently, he's a huge fan. And George R. R. Martin's not a fan of Miyazaki because he doesn't know video games. But
I wish he was a fan of finishing books.
We all want him to finish some books. You know, he's got to write some more history books about the Song of Ice and Fire first, because the first part of that one just came out, and he's got another one that he's going to come out with, which is more of like the history of all that. But yeah. Anyways.
I mean, again, I'm being a downer. It's still cool. Like, it's cool that you get somebody with that much swag right now. Like, not right now, he's had swag for several years now, but that to possibly give you any type of story thing, because honestly, other than their most recent game with Sekiro, like, I know that there's world building and lore that you can find whenever you're playing like Bloodborne and Dark Souls, but like from a surface level, from a guy like me, whenever you look at it, there ain't a whole lot of story. Like,
they don't tell you the story. You have to go find it yourself.
Yeah, and so with Sekiro, like, you played a character, you didn't make the character, like, and there was a story written there. So now they get this guy who is very much known for lore building, and so even if he was there just to give them direction and like help them in terms of like building a world and how you get people to care about your lore, that's fascinating, that's interesting, and what they can do with that. I'm not going to play it, but you will, and you can tell me all about it.
I will play it, and I'll also play Halo Infinite, because I really hope that they're going back on track with Halo,
except that they brought Cortana back. Why'd they do it?
Yeah, well, and Master Chief's supposed to be dead. Like, this kind of undoes his, like, ultimate sacrifice.
He ain't never gonna die.
No, he's never gonna die. Well, they realized when they took him out of the franchise, and then no one bought everyone hated it. The people who bought it hated it, and the other people were like, Master Chief's not in it. Why would I buy it? Yeah, so I'll probably play it, but this is going to launch on Project Scarlet.
Yeah.
So
before I move on to Project Scarlet, like, just talking about this, like, I'm super excited for Infinite. Hopefully it's a return to form. Hopefully it's great. I still am a little upset about Cortana being there. The weird thing, and I just saw somebody like posit this online, and like I hadn't really thought about it, but like kind of evident of how like Xbox in general has done a lot of their like games that they come out with. Like, is Master Chief ever going to evolve? Like, are we ever gonna dig deeper into Master Chief? Because in this trailer that they showed, like, the trailer was cool. I still wish there was gameplay, but the trailer was cool. It's still weird to, like, he never leaves the suit. Like, he's in there. Like, is he cybernetically like bound to his suit? Like, do you need
him to like leave the suit though?
I'm just wondering if we're like if the depth, I don't know, it's just strange to me that like after all these years we still don't ever like really see him at all. Like, it's just this dude in the green suit. Like, his suit doesn't really evolve either, right? Like, he's just this soldier guy. Like, I don't know. It was just a weird thing to think about, and I never even considered it. Like you said, like, do you really need him to leave? I don't know if I do, but I wonder what's going to happen. And you know, Robert brings up a good point, like with like Metroid, like Samus left the suit, like
Yep.
and Samus is cool.
Yep. If they do it, it would have to. I mean, I think it wouldn't be a bad thing, but it would be a game changer, literally in regards to the tone, in regards to who he is. That, and he's been in the suit so long. When you see what he looks like, it's going to be really hard to hit the right like look that will fill in what we imagine he looked like. It's like a person who's read like a series of books, all of a sudden they get a movie, like the Wheel of Time series that's getting some Amazon series of TV show. Like, people have been reading those books for like, what, 30 years? And then it's going to come out. Is it going to look like are they going to look like you're envisioning them when you read them? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yep. But on to Project Scarlet, though. I think that from a technical standpoint, they did a great job explaining the architecture
Sure.
and what this thing is capable of. Shooting for the moon in regards to some of the graphics and the resolution and frame rate and everything. People were trashing this left and right, saying that they didn't show enough. I'm like, what do you mean show enough? You want to see what the graphics look like? Because like yes, I want to see graphics, but they're literally going into the nuts and bolts of, like, without having to tell you the numbers, like a boring way of telling you the numbers. They're like, look, this is how much more powerful this is. This is the kind of ray tracing that it's going to do. This is what it's going to do in regards to shadows. I thought that was cool. And it was a cool way to, like, tease us for, hey, this is coming out next year.
No, I'm with the people on this one. No, there was nothing like, because the most important thing about this, the part that mattered, was that holiday 2020. They put a date stamp on it. Like, they didn't put an exact date, but they said next gen coming next year, Christmas time. Get ready, save up that money. Get ready to drive your kids crazy, because they're gonna be asking you for that Xbox Scarlet. Like, they did that, and Sony has not done that yet. Otherwise, as far as all the nuts and bolts things that you're talking about, like, sure, this video is cool, but it doesn't matter. Like, nobody cares. I don't care about the nuts and bolts. I care about the thing that PlayStation already did. We saw the video. We saw the video of Spider-Man loading in 1 second. They didn't do that. They showed some cool, like, you know, they had the soldering thing in there and the little pieces, and the guy's got the pencil. He's drawing on the screen. Like, I don't care. No, show me games. It's just like everything else. Like, everything about E3 and everything in general, like, nuts and bolts is cool for, like, GDC. It's cool for the people who have to work with this stuff. Yeah. But I just want games. And the thing about this, though, that people were wrong about, they were like, what are you supposed to show? They said, like, this thing potentially can do 8K. People are streaming this on Twitch or on YouTube or on Facebook. Yeah, if that. If you're watching this on your phone, you're probably watching it in like 420 to 720. Yeah, somewhere in between in there, depending on your connection. There's no way that they're going to show you something graphical, but
you're not going to be able to tell.
They should have done the same exact thing. They should have showed Halo loading in a second. They should have shown something where they threw a bunch of assets on there, but I don't care about any of that because they put a date on it. Like, so if PS5 doesn't hit holiday 2020, that's a big deal. Like, I want to see something now. That just makes me curious about if they skipped PSX last year. Are we getting a PSX in December that says it's coming out in the summer?
We better. We okay. I don't know if it's summer. I don't know. I hope PlayStation beats them. Because the gauntlet's been thrown down at this point. That's the important thing to take away on this. This sets, you know, the timetable for PlayStation for everyone. Next generation is a year and a half from now.
Yeah,
sounds about right.
Yeah, so, you know, and I'm glad that you liked all the, like, it didn't say that to me at all, because the thing about everything that they mentioned was stuff that PS5 already mentioned. PS5 already mentioned the potential for 8K. PS5 already mentioned, I keep calling it PS5. They haven't named it, but it doesn't have a cool project name either, like Project. I just want them to call it PlayStation. Just let's drop the number, like, let's just move on, but they probably can't. Apple tried to do that once by calling their iPad the new iPad, and that was a dumb name.
Yeah.
And then I was, so they're probably just going to call it PS5. They're probably smarter than me. But they already went with SSD. They already went with potential up to 8K. Same things that Microsoft said here. 120 FPS, mentioned that. Yep. They're using AMD. I want to say, somebody probably correct. This is again where I don't know hardware. I think that PlayStation also used AMD architecture, but I could be completely wrong about that. Every spec that they mentioned was exactly what was already mentioned. So if they wanted to one-up Sony, they did by saying holiday 2020. That was the biggest deal to me.
Agreed.
Next gen, next year.
Agreed. No, this next Xbox, the next box, if you will, that will be more similar to the PlayStation than the Xbox and PlayStation are right now, which are very similar to each other. They learned their lesson from a developmental standpoint. Sony learned their lesson in making something too different. So the two of them, they want you to buy their box. They want you to buy in on their brand, but at the same time, the two of them are going to play very easily, very nicely with each other from a developmental standpoint. We're seeing that more and more.
Now, you mentioned that was the other mistake that they made. So what they didn't mention, and what we already know about, so we have Project Scarlet. There's also Project Anaconda, which is supposed to be the super holy crap edition of the Xbox. Why didn't you talk about that instead? Like, theoretically, they're coming out somewhere around the same time, unless they're saying that Anaconda is not going to be ready for holiday 2020. Is it going to be another? I wonder. Also, is Anaconda going to be what we've talked about and what a lot of other people have talked about before, where kind of the future in terms of being able to upgrade individual parts, like, can you put new RAM in the Anaconda? Can you put I don't know what else, graphics card, modular, that's the word I'm looking for. I'm wondering if that's why they didn't mention it. I thought it was super weird to mention Scarlet when we know that Anaconda exists. Yeah. So it's either not going to come out at the same time, or maybe it's not as that much better, because what they're already saying, what the PS5 and Scarlet are already doing, like, that's huge. Like, yeah, you can do 120 and more FPS on a computer, but you can't do that on a console. You could barely get 60 on a console. Yeah. You could barely get 4K on a console. You could barely get good load times on a console. Like, and I love consoles. This isn't a diss. It's just upscaled. It's just that I'm also now it just makes me wonder how much these are going to cost. But holiday 2020, we know there's a new Xbox. Yep. It just made me that much more excited for PSX. Hopefully that happens. That's it. Like just do September. Like, just
$600.
Just give me.
I'm gonna guess it's $599.
I'm gonna guess September release.
September
for
release?
PS5, just to get. To get 2 or 3 months, because holiday 2020 can also mean like November, like Black Friday-ish.
Sure.
It would be fun, but it's a mistake if Sony lets them come out first too. I think they've done enough. I think Sony was actually, like, after watching this conference, as we start to like wrap it up, but like Sony, I think, was smart to stay away, because if you watch this conference again, solid conference. Tons of games. They counted them. They showed they gave a number, and I wrote it down. 60 games. They showed 60 games at this conference. A lot of stuff that I'm interested in. Not a lot of gameplay. If Sony would have been there, they would have been doing something very similar. Like, yeah. They already showed off Death Stranding. They probably didn't have anything new to show us on Last of Us. They probably didn't have anything new to show us on Ghost of Tsushima. Who knows what else is left before PS5. Like, I think that they saved a ton of money by not being there.
No, I agree. I think we're going to be a PSX and or a PlayStation Direct of some type. PlayStation's going to have to answer to Microsoft now. The gauntlet has been thrown down. The challenge will be accepted. I can't wait.
So overall, with the Microsoft conference, I gave it a B+.
Yeah. Yep. I gave it a B. I think there was some really good stuff in there. We got the announcement for the new Xbox. We know the next generation's coming. We knew it was coming. We just didn't know the date. Now we know. I'm excited.
So, we went through all the conferences again at facebook.com/TheLanCave. I have all the conferences in written form. A lot of people I know that you can go to their websites and you can get inundated with ads and everything. If you just go to our Facebook page and go to check out that note, you can just easily get each YouTube link to any trailer that you want to see. So check that out. But what I wanted to wrap this up with is, I don't know how many you wrote down or if you wrote down any, but give me like your... You don't have to. You need to do moments, or you can do games. Sure. Give me like your top 3 games or moments.
Yeah, top 3 would be Xbox announcing that their next generation's coming.
Okay.
Final Fantasy VIII.
Okay.
Completely shocked, and then Zelda, just blew my mind.
I like it.
Yeah.
Zelda's gonna be. I mean, it's a 1A, 1B situation because the 1A, 1B is with Final Fantasy VII Remake. The fact that it completely put all my fears to bed. I'm now afraid of nothing with that game. Voice dialogue aside, I don't care. Like, it looked too good. It looked like it's going to be too fun to play for me to hate on anything that Final Fantasy VII dialogue has to give me. But then the Zelda announcement completely was by surprise. It makes me happy that they're going back. They're gonna do a sequel. They're gonna use that world. They're not just gonna throw it all away and start from scratch. And that means we might get it sooner. I'm thinking maybe 2021-ish. Maybe take next year off. Who knows? Maybe we could even see it late next year. That would be sweet. And then it's moments. So moments is just. We got the Kiana moment, and then we got the lady whose name I still feel bad. But the fact, like, as far as from a stage presence thing, the fact that we got these, like, genuine, like, crowd-pleasing, awesome moments on stage with people who, she didn't seem nervous at all, but she just seemed like...
She was nervous about her language. The language barrier is the only thing she was nervous about.
Yeah, and then Keanu not knowing anything and totally just being, like... Wow, like, hey, these guys are pretty cool. These gamers, look at them. Those 2 moments there were great, but man, Zelda and Final Fantasy VII, I'm still thinking about them. Overall, those 2, Square and Nintendo, really saved the E3 for me, because the rest of it, I was just like, I know 2020 is now going to be big. Like, we're going to get a lot of games, but I just want to see them play a little bit. I just want to control around.
I'm so happy though. 2020 is going to be a good year because the next generation's coming, and we're not going to get a lull in regards to in 2020 and 2021. We're not going to get a lull on our consoles, on our current generation. So I'm happy about that. Yeah, I'm all in on next generation. Like, I'm ready. I'll buy them both. I'll be honest. I'm just gonna buy them both.
You know it.
Yep.
But again, check out. I put a good amount of time into putting all those trailers together for you. Okay. Also, like, hopefully, if you made it through this podcast talking about it, you want to go check out some of those trailers, so they're easily available on the Facebook page. Hopefully you like that too. I do it just for fun. I've done it for years, but I now put a little bit more work into making it organized and made it hopefully somewhat easy for Patrick to pull all the trailers off of. But E3, baby,
helped me so much, and there's a lot of people who don't have time to watch every single conference, and if you want to see just those highlights, or you want to just skim through and see what happened, those notes are the perfect way to do it. So check it out. Yeah. Anyways, we'll see you guys next time, where hopefully there's some more news to talk about after this big wave of news. We'll see you next time.
I may not be here, so maybe Patrick and maybe somebody else, or maybe just... So hopefully you guys miss me.
We shall see. There may be good things happening, but tune in next week, where at least I'll be here talking about video games and nerdy stuff. And yeah, we'll keep it going. Talk soon.